Also es hat aber auch viel, wo du dann, wo ich finde, wo du gebracht hast. Ich hoffe jetzt, dass es nicht vermischt.
Mhm.
Ganz
Schön.
gut.
Yesterday you talked about the relationship that men are having generally towards their either erected or soft cock in relationship to society, like when they are present with other people or with females or with sexual partners.
Mhm.
Can you tell me more about it again? And and also how it touches you, like if there is an experience that you would like to share about yourself.
Mhm. Okay. So there is actually there's actually deep identification from men with their penis, with their cock, and this identification is very difficult because there is a high expectation to have an erection in the right moment, and the right moment is that you find yourself ready for sexuality with a woman or a man or whatever then your preferences are, where you are. So there is the possibility or the opening of having sex, and then you do need an erection. And the identification with your cock and with the erection is then perfect, and it's all one. The big problem there is if your cock does not play along and does not go into an erection. So this realization of that my cock does not do what I like to do or have him to do. This is the one part. And then there's the other part, walking with it hand in hand, that the cock does not have an erection in the wrong moment. Means, for example, you're dancing very close to a woman, you just met her, or a man, and you're dancing very close, it's very sensitive, very erotic a little bit so, and it's and because you don't know this person, to have an erection then would say that all you want as a man, this is like this habit, this pattern, would say, everything is out to have sex. So in certain moments, this can really destroy something which builds up, because you don't want to be, especially not since the last few years, you don't want to be the one who is just going after sex and gets an erection and a hard-on or a boner just because there is something around which offers kind of sex. So your whole thinking and the whole brain slips down to the cock. So these are the moments, and you also don't want to have an erection in a tram, in a public transportation, whatever, and just in a meeting, like, know that. So there's a high actually expectation, a high force on itself and on the cock to behave and do the right thing in the right moment, which means on one side never have an erection in the wrong moment. So not to shock, for example, not to shock women, because the step into the fear of being a perpetrator or a possible rapist is really close there. You can, yes, and the other side is that if you don't have an erection in the right moment, then must be something wrong. And men, I hear a lot of men, and I myself made this experience too, that, whoa, there's a possibility of sex. There's this beautiful woman, I worked on her since I don't know how long, and now finally we are in bed. She's naked, I'm naked, everything is ready, just the main actor of the whole scene is not ready. It's wow. And this is like this is a traitor. He traited me. He left me alone. Yes. And so, and there, and in this part, in this conflict, in this, my cock must behave, and he must fulfill his duties. There is a lot of an enormous stress in there, and the thing is that this is this hard training of not listening to the cock. When I start to go with his mood, with his feelings, with his emotions, then I cannot control the situations anymore. So there is a naked woman, I could have sex and I don't have an erection. It's like, no way I let you through without an erection. You have to have now an erection, because now we have to save the situation. I listen to you later, but not now, because now we need to make sex. Or the other way around, now here is an erection. No, stop it, because we are in a business meeting. Stop that down. You're not, I cannot listen to you. I cannot go with your moods and your emotions or whatever. So this is a hard training which starts very early, in school time, in the kindergarten even, which cuts off the connection to their own cock. And it's to accept that your brain tells you we have sex now, but your cock is not there, and to bye-bye, and to accept that, and to listen to him, and to realize that in the cock there are emotions, there are feelings, and there is sadness, there is joy, there is sexual energy, and sometimes there is no sexual energy. So through the sexual energy, it's the most easiest way for a man to go into a connection, because this is one thing they can really feel in their cock. But most of them don't make the experience that in the cock can feel sadness, sometimes even stronger than how you feel sadness in your heart or in your body. And to I can't put it in other words, to actually feel the cock. So and ask him, where are you? How are you today? What is yours? Because for example, one part is that an erection does not mean I want sex now. Otherwise we wouldn't have an erection in the middle in a business meeting, or exactly the second when you're first or second grade school and the teacher calls you up to write something on the wall up front, and exactly then you have an erection. and you don't know what to do. You would like to sit there, and you rather say, I don't know the solution for that, so I don't have to come up front just to hide the cock. So the cock itself can have an erection fully besides of if you want to have sex or not. So that's this one proof of that the cock is super sensitive and can feel and does have an own life. And there we have to be careful not to separate us or the cock from ourselves, like, oh wow, I have a living being here with me and I have to ask it also. It's there is the cock living with you, and the more you can go into connection, the more you can connect with your own cock and accept your cock and start to give your cock a voice and start to listen to the voice and start to try and understand the voice. The more you connect to each other, and the more you can, in a situation where you should have or you want to have an erection but you don't, in this moment, so Lamparita is diving into something cool.
Go on.
Good. Yeah, the more you can go into connection with your cock and accept it, the more you can give it a voice, the more you listen to the voice also. It's not enough to give it a voice and sometimes listen there, or sometimes not. So really listen to this voice and really go there to understand this voice. This is a process. It's a longer process. It liberates the cock from just functioning. It liberates it to the place where it actually belongs, because it's a primary sexual organ, and it has the same sensitivity, the same vulnerability, the same deeper feelings as your heart, as your belly, as your intuition, as your body. So it's not just a functioning organ. I'm happy my lungs function on themselves, and I'm happy I don't have to think about breathing for each single breath I take. I'm really happy for it that I have the fully deep trust that my lungs do their job. That's not the same as what my cock is here for. My cock is here for also as an antenna, as a sensor into the world, and at the same time to myself also, and to feel where my cock is and what there is and what is the feelings, and to realize that. So that's what's the cock awakening is for, that actually to get to know a very important, deep friend which goes along with you, the better and the more you give him space. Liberated from functioning. And liberate yourself from functioning. Yeah, yes. And all the...
How does it make you feel to have talked about it? I feel some sadness
Yes.
when I'm listening to you.
yes, talking about it is, yes, there is sadness. The sadness comes out of a certain depth of connection, because when I talk now about my cock, then, and I give it so much focus, then of course this helps to feel my cock much more. And then I start to hear its voice, and that, and in this I feel sadness, I feel an kind of a deeper relaxation, and I think this sadness is kind of combined with this deeper relaxation, because there is this desire to be totally comfortable and totally relaxed with my cock, which most time of my life I was not. And then now I feel like how deep my cock is with me, how deep the connection always was, because I abandoned him, but he never abandoned me. Even if sometimes we had a fight with each other, he never left. There it's like he took all my craziness, he took all my force I put on him, he took it all and stayed. So this is what I realize when I go into this deeper connection and I start to feel, and right now I do feel this sadness really in my cock. It's not the same feeling as I have now in my body. And in my cock there is this sadness, but also at the same time this deeper relaxation and the beauty of this connection. And the beauty shows also in my lingam, in my cock. So I could actually point out on my lingam where I feel the sadness and where I feel this deeper relaxation, and what it does there, and how it works in my body. So it's more kind of the ignition, actually the root of the sadness, for example, is in my cock. And from there, the more I go with it, the more I connect with it, the more I go to my cock, then it starts slowly to grow into my body. So the beginning was in the cock, and then it comes into my body. But the intensity of it is much higher in my cock than in my body. So, and fear, for example, too. So there is a fear which hits me in my belly. So that's a own quality of fear. Then there is a fear which goes fully into my pelvis, and I'm losing myself. So, and then there is a fear also in my cock, which is much deeper connected with my soul. So my cock is not. It also responds of when I'm standing there before an abyss, before it really goes into a dark black hole, and I can fall. And when I jump now down there, I have it just in front of my feet, and when I jump into this nothing, then I die. So there is also a certain fear in my cock, but I have it more like in my belly, and because I could die. But there's another fear in my cock which has another fear. It goes more into my soul. It goes just somewhere deeper, and I can feel it now, that the ring where my fear is in my cock, and this one shoots into my pelvis. So the the source of this pain is actually in my cock. And I never realized that until I realized that my cock was here, hanging between my legs, and would give me sexual feeling, like, ooh, oh, now I'm horny. Let's lust and horny. Let's do it, or not. Yes, she agrees with me.
I want to bring the model cock, and can you talk more about the fear and what it actually says? 1 second.
Yeah.
So can you show us where does that fear sit that you just talked about, and what does the fear say if you can tune into it?
Okay. Okay. The fear part, the deeper fear part is, I would say, it's it's really complex. So, and a cock is just much more complex than we think. So there are two parts of fear. The one is really down here at the bottom, at the shaft, at the what do you call that? Where it just attaches to the body, and in the crown. So both go into kind of how can you describe the feeling of fear? It's really difficult to describe. I just stay there that I feel fear here and here, and it kind of shuts down everything. Ooh, it comes down into a freeze. So it's and then the next with these fears, or the next what I feel is that I get a really tight feeling here. It's really tight, and it's like making it narrow, and this making narrow is exactly the opposite of getting an erection where everything widens out. So this goes in, and here this is the funny part, because when the fear is not with it, then in this part here there is the joy. So if there is something like joy and like also sexual energy connects here and here. And this is the amazing part. So when the crown and the base, when they come together with the fear, then this is really fear which goes into a freeze, and it's like this powerless state. It feels very powerless. And same time, I realized that this part here, the base, is as for the sexual energy. That's the amazing part. For the sexual energy is as important as the crown. So most men, when they get an orgasm or go for an orgasm, then they stimulate especially the crown here, or this part here. So that's mostly the movement most men do. And I realized that this part here and this part here is as sensitive. So you can actually bring yourself to an orgasm without any stimulation here, but here. And it's like inside the body. And this is kind of connected. It kind of makes sense, because this deeper sexual energy has everything in it. The joy, horniness, lust, want to ejaculate, want to penetrate. The whole joy thing is in here, so it does not surprise me when there is fear also in here. But the joy is like very much connected here, or curiosity also. So these are my parts.
Nice.
I can imagine that for another man, he might find other points.
Yeah. Do you want to? I would love you to tune into the voice of, like, anything that, any kind of feeling that we normally feel in our body. The feeling itself normally also has a voice, a sentence, something that the feeling wants to say or has to say. Like, a fear could be like, I don't want that this and this happens, or I'm afraid that when this and this happens, happens. Or the sadness of like, I lost something or I'm losing something. So I was wondering if you can tune into if the fear is still alive, if you can tune into the sentence, if you, like the words of what the fear actually has to say or wants to say, if it's reachable for you.
Okay, there are different fields of fear. So it's also since I started to go into the feelings of my cock, I realized that even when I'm driving and a situation happens and I almost had an accident, and or this 1 second before it goes like that, then I start to feel where it has an impact also in my cock. So I feel something there too, which is much closer to the decision of fight or freeze than when I feel it just here. Here is kind of like, it's weird, it's kind of like slower and it's kind of like slow motion, and my cock is much faster there. Where I feel, whoa, fight or freeze. And then there's also this thing of when I go into sexual energy, and then it might sound a bit special now. So it was for me kind of, because in my work, and I worked much more with women than with men, and there I realized that cocks have the definite order to lead and pull and push, even when there is fear. So the fear in sexuality, fear has no space. And for example, it can, for example, to realize a first time that there is insecurity in sexuality. And I know I always had insecurities, and most of the time I didn't allow them. So my cock actually had it, and he kind of expressed it, but I didn't listen to it. So this fear is not allowed. And now, um, for example, when I listen today, so since I know that my cock can be scared of something, and within the context of sexuality, any fear or any insecurity was not allowed. Definitely not, because whatever. And now it's allowed, and now I hear it, and for example, the same themes show up for me at least, and since I talk about that, I hear it also from other men, that for example, sexuality can be too fast. Or the question comes up, am I ready? So these are the same questions as men and women have too. So actually, women allow it a bit more, or at least allow themselves a bit more to react on that. Most of them don't realize that it, for example, if we stay with the speed, with the speed in it, in a sexuality, how it develops and so, that they actually feel it and they don't really feel comfortable, but they can't really express it in, hey, can we go slower? So at least that's this, women feel a bit more there. So, and for men, the speed thing is kind of it's covered by pull and push. So we have sex now, so now we go into the arousal part, we go into this so prepare everything for penetration, and then the penetration and get the most out of it, and then the orgasm, and then we relax together, and then that's it, and this is the pattern, and this one we follow, and whatever my cock says, the priority has the pattern, the way I always did it, because yes, so, and fear or any insecurity is not possible. It's just not possible. And then suddenly to feel this insecurity and like, do I want to penetrate? Do I want to be touched? And it can be that, oh, I love to be with this woman, I love to lie next to her, I love to feel her body, her energy, the warmth and whatever, but maybe I'm not there that I want to be touched or that I even want to penetrate. And these things are suddenly here. Suddenly it's part of it. And to hear it is a big surprise. And then to do the step of really hearing it and react on it, that's the next big step. And to relax then with that is the next big step. And then the good experiences start, because most of the time the partner is like, okay, yes, sure, let's relax, yes, whatever we do, because most of the time it was for them too fast too. So then it matches anyway, and that's where fear changes into connection with the own cock, and then it relaxes. And the more we relax with all that, and of course you can still be too fast. The energy, the sexual energy just goes off, and whoa, and everything is super ready. Okay, so and then maybe there comes a no and says, too fast, and then to feel what happens in the cock. Oh, whoa, there is now this feeling, and this comes in it, and there's maybe a little disappointment, and maybe a little bit of shame. Oh, wow, I was like too whatever. And to have it here, and to go into connection with that too, and then stay in the situation and stay connected. So it's not, I would say that if whatever happens in sexuality is not to try to figure out what happened on the other side, where your partner is and what's happening there, and to analyze it, but to stay in connection with your own genital, men and women. It comes together there. They both have the same thing, and also, yeah, they both have the same thing. We are not so much separated as we think we are. But the thing is, cocks have to shut up. They have to have an erection at the right moment, and they have to be relaxed in the right moment. That's not their job. Their job is to support men with feeling themselves, with connect to themselves. Maybe I don't know if that's true, but maybe I could say connect to your cock, and then connect to your body. To feel your cock is maybe I'm not sure if that's right now, but to feel your cock and connect to your cock and be connected with your cock is maybe this much more important than to be connected to your body. Because it's the center where it starts. Yeah.
Can we do a little experience right now?
Yeah.
I would love just a little sequence of like how is your cock right now? Like how do you feel as your cock right now? What are the feelings right now, and what are they saying right now in this moment? Where there is a camera, where I'm here, where I'm talking to you, where you're sitting on this couch and have been talking.
Yes.
And maybe when you found, like when you can also express what you feel where on the module, and explain it a bit.
Mm-hmm. It's funny. So when I tune in now into my cock, then it's like what I really think is cool is, and I see that. So a lot of times when you ask people how do you feel and all that, then sometimes it's like this touch happens. So some people, they just go inside and they feel whatever, and some people go into touch with their body or with the legs, and they go in touch. And I realized that with my cock too, there are many situations in which I have the impulse to hold my cock, and sometimes it works. Sometimes I can sneak into my pants and nobody realizes it, and then I'm in contact, and this is great. This is like, it gives really this feeling of I'm holding myself, I'm not alone. That's amazing. And then I think I can connect much better to my cock. So, and I had one or two situations where people realized that I touched my cock, and the reactions were not good. So it's kind of negative, what people construct out of it or project into it. And that's so. And now here in this interview, I had a few times this impulse to connect with my cock by just holding it, and it's nothing else, just like connecting. So as I can connect to my heart, and this is loud, I can touch myself here and feel my heart and support it, and whatever then happens when I touch it. And this is so amazing that it is so difficult to do that with the cock, because the cock is, as I really can assure, that is as sensitive as a heart, fully. And I'm not allowed to make this connection. So, and I don't do it now because I know it can be difficult for certain people. And so I put this impulse to the side. Maybe I do a video once where I play around with my cock. And when I go in, here I can show it. So when I go into touch or connection with my cock, then it's like I'm just holding it. So, and then it's nice that, for example, now I feel a lot of energy in the basic. So I think I would go here and make a connection, and there's this energy, and this energy is excitement. It's like there is excitement and like a very alive kind of energy. So there is joy, and I also feel now this part here. So when I go into this feeling, and now I feel these two, and this is a beautiful feeling. It's an amazing feeling which comes, which does not, it is not sexual. It's not a sexual energy. It's a real joy energy.
Mm. What does the joy say? What's the?
It says. It says. It says it goes to breathing, and you see, I'm still learning from feeling my cock, so it's vibrating there. So there's a vibration there, here, and the basic, and here there's a vibration, and this vibration goes to it widens me, it widens my cock, it widens my cock into the room, and it wants to meet, it wants to bring this energy I have in my cock into the room, and but for myself, not for other people. It's not that, it's for myself, and it gives this opening. It's a real opening into the world, and it wants to touch the world, and it wants to connect. It's like and now it goes back to the base here, and there is a certain sexual energy in it now, which opens up my whole pelvis also. And this is what I experience so many times, that it goes from the lingam then slowly into the body. So my body learns from it. So actually the source is in my cock. And same time I have in my crown now this ocean-wide feeling comes in it also. I'm as big as the ocean and as deep as the ocean. Deep. And it wants to dance, and it wants to move. So this is movement here. And I realized that I started also to move my hips much more than before, because it's a very alive, vibrating feeling. I could say it's the vibration of life. It's the deeper vibration of life. It's where life comes from. So, and sometimes I really also, because sometimes I also feel my balls, and I feel that since this is the ignition of life, since this is a root, a deep root of life, then there's not only the semen and the DNA and all that, which goes then to an egg and creates life. It's not only that, but also all the feelings, all my fears, all my joy and everything is also rooted here. And actually this is the first part where it goes into the body. And that's why I kind of say make a connection first with your cock and then with your body, because you can follow your cock into your body. And
yeah, I was wondering how your testicles feel right now, like if you also can tune into their state at the moment in this room, on this couch, in this interview.
Actually, the most insecurity now is in my testicles, because they start to they are insecure. They start to the feeling is they want to slip into my body. They want to hide in my body. They don't want to be exposed. So, and they want to come to me, and makes it even stronger that I want to hold myself and kind of protect. And the insecurity is also sometimes in my cock, but a lot of times in my testicles, and they mix up with the joy feeling I have here, with the excitement I have here now. So it's exciting to do this video, and it's exciting to sit here, and this excitement is I feel here, and also a little bit here, but mainly here, and it touches certain sexual energy also, which is not directed to somewhere, it stays in here. It's nice to feel it. It's just nice to have a sexual energy, and especially because it's not going anywhere. And then there are my testicles, they are insecure and they mix into it. So I have a salad. I have a mixture of these two feelings. And I feel my balls, they're like, oh, it's enough, and stop it now, and you said enough, and oh, and just get out, and all that. And then there's it's my cock, which kind of developed this sexual feeling. And I think the sexual feeling, when I start to feel there now, it's so many times with it, and the sexual feeling alone, to feel the energy alone is amazing, relaxing and calming down, but keeping fully aware at the same time. It's a beautiful feeling. And this is also something I had locked up with physical sex with somebody, and more I realize, whoa, I have a sexual energy which goes with me. So the feeling just is nice, you know. And it's always there. You can touch yourself, you can start to stimulate yourself, and this feeling is always right here. So, but to allow it, it's complex. I'm missing off 99% of all words I would need to describe it.
Just before I realized that that you say that in your testicles you have this feeling of like, now I said enough words and I want to go, kind of. Can you breathe into this feeling a bit more and talk about what there is also? Maybe there is more. Like, what is the desire to go?
All I can say is that as whatever when I can put it like this, when I start to follow now the testicles, the feeling which is in there, the insecurity, when I follow that, then it goes, it's like, it gets really, really difficult to follow that, because it's practically not possible to observe it, because I'm definitely involved. So what I mean is, when I'm in a therapy session where it goes to go with the feelings and all that, and what is happening, what is the reaction, where do I feel what, then I observe. I go into observing and watching what happens. So the position of the observer is always from the outside, and watch it and be touched of what you see, but it's this observer thing. And with the cock I can't go to the observer. I'm involved. So it's like I would put my soul stripped naked on the table.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking you to do. I understand that it's complicated. And I hope you say no if you don't like to go there.
No, it's not possible. Not. This is now for a video and to put it on YouTube and all that. It's definitely too intimate.
That's nice to hear.
Maybe the time comes where I can do that, but not now. Yeah, because it's a sacred, it's kind of a sacred spot. It feels sacred, and it feels like
How do you feel now when you with this boundary?
It's definitely a liberated feeling, like definitely like I feel relaxed in the sense of being free, taking a pressure off of me. And on the other side, same time, there is there is this call to follow myself. And that's also, it is because it leaves the part of sharing. It goes deeper than sharing. It goes it goes, yeah, it's that's difficult to say. I don't get there. I can't tell you exactly what the reason is why I don't. But it's like, I know how to share, I can go really deep and all that, so my body and this and that, and it's connected to what, and traumas and patterns and imprints and all that. And here, when I follow my testicles and also my cock, and especially this part here, which I'm really fascinated about, and also inside it goes also, yeah. And there it's actually, it almost feels like giving away and not sharing. And there are certain things which I don't know. Das ist vergessen.
What do you mean with giving away?
Tun wir das noch drauf? Also das tun wir nicht mehr drauf. Das will ich nicht drauf haben.
Ja, wahrscheinlich nicht.
Nein.
What do you mean with giving away? I want to understand it. It's like I can share and I can go there on energies and communications, any kind of me and the world. And the cock and the testicles go into an area, into a field between me and me. And that's difficult to share with me and the world, with the world. So there are things I can share with me and the world, like why do I react like this to you, like that to this person, and like this to the world, and like that, whatever. So that's this area. And then it comes down to the area which I think is kind of new to me, at the field between me and me. And that's one field, and then the other field is on which I can share is between me and the world. And then it comes to the field between me and me, and there it has a whole different energy in which it does not feel like sharing, like I tell you something, but next week or next month it can be different, and it's like the moment, it's like where I am, it's like, this pattern works like this on me, that's why I react like that to the world, that's why you have these projections on me and I project that on there, and it's interesting to analyze the projections and where they come from. So that's this one field in which I love to share. That's cool, that's great. And then there's the field of between me and me. And maybe there's a separation in it, which I cannot tell you what is on each side. It goes somewhere where I can't even share. There's nothing. There's actually. It goes beyond this life. It goes beyond this life. It goes beyond, and with this life I mean since this universe is. Because there is, to me,
Yeah. We say that there are past lives, and these lives are embedded into this universe. And my point is there that sometimes I get a glimpse of that, where I say there are past universes. And according to if our soul is immortal, then we might have had hundreds of universes also in our story, not only the past lives in this universe, all the past lives in the past universes. And that it goes kind of there.
It makes total sense for me.
Okay.
The testicles are the place where our body produces the semen that brings life, and it brings it from somewhere.
Yeah.
Which is not from this world. We bring life into this world.
Yeah. Yeah.
How does it touch you when I say that?
Mostly touches me that you said we bring life into this world. That's cool.
How does that touch you? Like, I don't understand.
It's not separating.
Yeah.
And that's what I strongly believe. Yeah. You can see a separation there, that women have eggs and men have semen. You can make a separation out of it. But when you look at it at the whole, there is no separation. Can't be. It's just not. And yes, it's this. There is the magic, the sacredness, and with sacredness I don't mean something which is very vulnerable and breakable and we have to be very careful and follow the rules, not to disturb the sacredness. Totally not that. There's no rules there. It has nothing to be extra aware of or needs extra protection. So like what our culture does. Our culture says, this is our culture, this is our legacy, what we have since our ancestors, and we have to protect it and support it and keep it. True sacredness does not need that stuff. True sacredness is so much bigger than we are. It protects us. We don't need to protect it. And the semen, so this semen and this point of ignition, that spark there is it, which is so much bigger, and we carry it in our bodies, and it plays together, and it kind of, for me it's the absolute amazing knowledge and wisdom of whatever created us. I love to call it nature, because I think nature is a god. It's divine, something divine, it's all nature. And it went there where it said there is light, there is darkness, there are suns, there are mountains, there are valleys, there is water, air, fire, and all that, and which is this mixture of making life, and within there it put in this humans, and in the humans that there is this aliveness. It's not humans which are total identical. So there are at least two forms of the ones which have a womb and the other ones which have testicles. And to keep the tension, to keep this vibrating, it cannot vibrate when it's not. When it's fully 100% similar, there is no rhythm anymore. There is no vibration anymore. So you can take this wall. This wall is this wall, and there's nothing in here which kind of brings a movement into it, and this movement would make the tension. If a movement comes in, then it's an earthquake, and then it starts like, whoa, the house starts to be alive because it's moving. And the amazing wisdom of our nature is that it said, by giving the ones an egg and giving the other ones semen, and nothing works without one of each other, makes both fully equal. So we can say, yeah, there's a separation, there are the eggs, and here are the semen, and the one part says, yeah, without the semen there won't be life, and the other one says, no, without the egg there won't be life, and all that, and this whole shit. But we don't see that exactly that makes us equal. That's for me the amazing wisdom of nature. To bring together contrary things.
What I also really like is that I never have looked at testicles the way I have looked at wombs. But for me it feels very similar, like when you're talking about your testicles now, and there is this sacredness, and that the testicles are kind of this bridge to other worlds.
Yeah.
Because they kind of receive, they kind of produce life, but they also perceive, like they are kind of a door, a portal, and the womb for me is also a portal. And I'm trying to understand now, like, why it was so touching for you to go there and to let that wisdom kind of land in that in this very public conversation, and what there is this whole story around like female wombs and the magic of the female wombs, and now there is this hidden magic of male testicles which have kind of the same or a similar matching magic to female wombs. And now I'm just wondering what happened right now, like what just happened?
It's so it gives it's so I don't really feel comfortable now with what I say, but it gives the man this divine, and the divine is that the semen produces itself out of nothing. So it takes these parts of the DNA in there, and it comes to the man. So where from can it come? Then from, I say now, universe. And so many there are so many native religions which say the sky is God or is spirituality, and we also say Mother Earth and Father Sky, and go into this direction. So, and gives that gives us back actually this divine point of giving life. And it's so. And then I think Michelangelo, with his beautiful picture in the 16th chapel he made for one of these popes. It's on the roof where God touches with his finger, and that's the moment where he gives life to mankind. And to me this is so this is I think sometimes I think Michelangelo must have felt that it's just this touch, and there's nothing, it's not more than this touch, and there's, to me it's not, it's like this semen is nothing more than this touch with an egg. It's this tack, and this split of a second happened, the divine happens. This split of a second, it happens. And of course, this I'm not taking this picture now as the big picture because it's touching. And of course, on the other side, it's a male and not a female, or just a human being, which is both, or whatever, and all that. And but it's, and he comes from the sky, and he's floating in God, and the angels hold him, so he's not connected to the earth. And I think it's Adam he's touching there, and Adam is sitting on the earth, he's sitting on the ground, he's like even kind of lazy, he's like, it looks like he's like just with, it's the last energy he gives his finger, because he's like earth and body and all that, and I like this, I kind of like it. I think Michelangelo must have been very close to a certain secret and or divine moment, and that's where I can put man. And the sadness maybe there is, or what makes something with me is I give my semen away. The part of giving life is I am giving life, and that's it. And then the whole rest of creating a human being is happening in another body. So this is a part where I need to really see myself also, to see the divine I have, the divine access, what happens actually in this ignition of giving life, and also to go with it that I'm close to say there is a connection to universe which gives me the semen, and then I put it, and then it goes into another body, and their life gets created and grows and comes into this world and starts to move things in this world. And with all that, I have nothing to do. And that's something in which, if I ever meet the big creator or creatress somewhere someday, then I say, why was it the female body who made the whole rest, while I just had this ignition part? But it's really also a task to make this ignition part not small, to give it that moment of touch, and to give it, to see that. All in the cock.
Yeah. How do your testicles feel now when we have talked about this connection, and now also that?
Yeah, much more relaxed now. Much more relaxed, much more now in ease, and And yes, the insecurity is gone, and they feel more heavy. They feel became weight again. I can feel them now because of the weight and the relaxation in it. Before it was like something like that. Oh, give me a la la. And now it's like, oh yeah, cool, yeah, I'm here. Yes, it's all like this feeling. And it's only in my testicles, this feeling. It's not anywhere else. Maybe it is also in somewhere else, but here it's like just a step lower than what I feel with my body. It's maybe my body is connected to my mind, and my cock and my testicles are connected to my soul.
It feels like there is this difference. I would say we have the same, the women. Like there is in the pleasure parts around like the clitoris and kind of the vagina. There is a connection to soul, and then the womb is a totally different story. It's very more collective, or it goes into places where it's kind of beyond who I am. And in the womb I can really, like, it's really a portal, it's a door to wisdom that is not just for myself.
Yeah.
So it's beyond soul in a way.
Yeah. Beyond, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It's kind of service. Service to the whole.
Yeah.
The cat also has something to say there.
She's also with it. She just said, yeah, exactly, for the cat's the same. Yeah, cool, we are all one.
I feel complete.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Was that? Det er sejt mere end et